Hey, it's Will, checking in again. Today is Monday, January 19th, 2026, and it's my second time that I'm going to talk, just talk through whatever is on my mind. Really, I think I'm recording this to be an accountability type of thing. I could easily do this and not upload it and never watch it, but I figure that if I stay up with this, maybe, at the very least, maybe it can help me stay accountable and trying to, I guess, just making sure I'm spending time actually doing the things that I intend to do. Like, I think life for the longest time for me was like the path of least resistance. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that happened, just as there is to anybody, that alters the course of what's happening or of where you're going in life. But one of the sayings that I've had in my mind that that for most of my life that I love is life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. And just because there's some big things that life could have very much gone different ways for me before, and that's not really the purpose of what I'm talking about right now. But basically, the whole idea behind that is, how you react to it. What are you going to do? You can only control what you control, your actions, your approach. And right now, I'm still trying to figure out what is it even that I want to do. In some aspect, I right now, what I think I want to do is I think I want to be a writer. Um, Writing something that I continually come back to. I like writing out my thoughts. I like trying to tell a story, even when it's really difficult. There's, I think it's worth me at least exploring. Something I've said what if about a lot of times, and outside of that, my current career, like I'm in a great situation for my current job. The team I work with, we're like it's been really good, and it's helped me provide for my family, and but it's not it's a good situation where you imagine that it's like, hey, I could be here for quite some time. That'd be great. That'd be great to build something there. But I think I want to write, so I think that's partially what I'm talking about. Is that I think I want to write when it comes to I can hear my youngest giggling over there with my wife. I said I just need to record this, so I'm here. I'm doing that. I'm sticking to this camera and the webcam mic right now. It's just what I'm sticking to right now. But yeah, today I tried to write a little bit, and actually I think when I forced shut down my computer, I don't even think I saved it. It was nothing completely coherent. It's kind of just spilling out my thoughts, stream of consciousness writing, which is what I try to do. But I really didn't do much. I think I did 90 words only today, so that's not really much. Um, but it's really hard to get myself to actually write, and and I'm not unique in that regards. But earlier, well, it's been less than a year now, but last year I ran an experiment with myself about writing, and because I have working theory, and I mean, I don't even know if I remember exactly how I phrased it before, but the whole idea was that writing, like, I think that you could write like stream of consciousness and work from that standpoint. Um, a lot of things. I don't know. Basically, I went for to some extent, I've heard it said quantity begets quality. Like, obviously, people say quality or quantity, which one you want better? You want quality. But when it comes to different things, sometimes to get your quality, first you need to have a lot of quantity before you find anything of quality. And I know that's very vague, very loose terms, but the whole idea was I'm just going to write. I'm going to write a ton and allow myself to just however much I write, I am going to maybe I'll have something worthwhile. And what actually happened to that one, I don't have the exact numbers up. Actually, hold on. I think I can do this because I'm just on my webcam. I have it bookmarked here. Let me pull up. Yeah, so last year, it's last April actually, I had pulled up. I came up with a program that was just for myself. I was gonna say if I could write literally about anything, like we're not posting any of what I'm writing. I'm just writing, and when you can write and spell whatever, it doesn't need to be coherent. Words don't need to be spelled properly. It doesn't have to be grammar. But if you just start writing. What is it? And I started my goal at 1,000 words a day. Well, 1,000 words is really quick to write if you know what you're gonna write, or if it doesn't matter, if you just have to write words. Like for me myself, I can write a decent amount. Well, every day I increase that goal by 100 words, and this went over for the course of a couple of months. I started at 1,000 words, and by the time I was done, my daily goal was 6,800 words. But the thing is, with the exceptions of the weekends, like especially during the summer, going to the beach with my family and whatnot, I didn't do that, so much. What ended up happening, anyways, was over the course of that. So my total goal, if you had 1,000 words on day one, you added 100 every day, and then it would have been when I stopped. It was at 6,800 is when I stopped. So I think I was just shy of 2 months. If you add all those up, that'd be 230,100 words. Well, in actuality, I wrote 252,112 words, which, again, most of that isn't writable, or like publishable as is. But obviously, it's like, I think when I realized at that point, when I actually added the numbers up, I was like, fantasy books, they're talking about the 100,000 word range, and that's what actually got me to then say, hey, I can write a story. So I turned around and I wrote the story that that I was thinking of, my first draft. I can't remember how many words it is. I think I'm at about 60,000 words for that first draft of that book, which there's a few things I know I need to rewrite, and there's like one chapter that actually needs to be like 3 chapters. But one of the difficult things with that in a bigger project like that is I've had to put it on the shelf. I've heard get some distance from it. And I've been thinking about it more and more, and about the little ways to change the story that I think would make it a lot better, make it more coherent in places, and do more justice to some of the characters, building them up and whatnot. And so I'm not done with that. But at the same time, I talk about like sports were always a huge part of my life. I played 5 sports. I played on the football team, the basketball team. I ran track, and then outside of school, I played baseball and I played soccer, because sports were always my deal, my jam. And then I was away from it, and I wrote down a couple things for today's video, but I have not followed them at all. That is totally fine, because right now, like this is more of a daily, a video log. I don't even want to say vlog. It's a video log where I'm more so talking about all this for my own recollection, and I invite conversation. If anybody wants to. I had a very nice commenter on my first video, and so much so I feel like I didn't say enough. I didn't have in response. I feel like I didn't know what more to say, but I was just very genuinely thankful for their kind words. And so anyways, getting back to, I was talking about sports and writing, and part of me was like, well, maybe I want to try writing about sports, because sports for me, I've had as I'm sure the numbers are willing to support. I'm sure they support that a lot of people have stuff that didn't go as well as they hoped it did. Maybe because I know a lot of people want to go somewhere with it. Like myself, from a young age, I always wanted to, at the very minimal, play, get a scholarship. And right there, then the odds are against you. And then obviously people dream of being the best and everything and whatever. But I had my own saga, actually, on my whole family, with certain teams that we just, it was easier to take a break from it and actually, sports was one of those things that I always bonded with over my family growing up. And then when they're paying less and less attention, it was one of the things that we kind of bonded over, and that was gone. So in some ways, I don't talk to them as much as I used to. And in about some things, I mean, like I love my family. I have a great family, but I'm really straying from where I wanted to talk about it. Like today, I don't know. I think writing is something that I want to do. And I'm looking at the national championship today, and I'm like, how cool it is to see, you got Indiana, the University of Indiana versus University of Miami. One team who had the most losses in Division One football at one point, so a terrible football school, versus a team that was, kind of like in the culture, the U sort of thing, And they haven't been relevant in a quarter of a century, which sounds crazy to say it because I don't remember if it was that game or if they went 2 years in a row. I remember whenever they played Ohio State in the national championship, I think I remember watching it on TV, and I think the scoreboard, if this would have been ABC, if this whatever, was like gold on the screen or something like that, and it was an overtime game. I don't remember all the details. My memory is foggy, but like, part of me, like I had a few ideas of stuff that I wanted to write about when it came to it, like about, just talking about how different of places those two people are coming from. And then, at one point I had the concept of thinking about like talking about more about league parity in sports. Like I think the more different teams you have as contenders is the better for the fan, the average fan and whatnot, and playing into colors a lot, like of different teams and whatever, and the green of the money with NIL deals and the blue of blue bloods or whatever in college. But I never got out to writing it, I mean, I tried a few times, but I don't know. It's so much of it is up here. So much of it is up here, and I didn't do that, And I had a few other ideas about, and with even the NFL playoffs, and about like seeing, I grew up a Detroit Lions fan, and then seeing the Packers Bears game for, as a Lions fan, and just, I think relating from that perspective. Again, like, see, they say sports is drama. I can't remember whose slogan that was. It might have been Sports Center, it might have been ESPN or something like that. But where it is drama, and I wanted to take more of that standpoint, the storytelling sort of thing, and what it means, rather than talking about stats and matchups and all that, because I think the average viewer, it's more about the story, personally. Like, I don't know, we're not all hardcore stat nerds, and I was when I was younger, but not so much anymore. But, yeah, now I realize, it's been so long I don't really pay attention, and part of me is wondering, like, well, maybe I should start writing about it. But it's going on tonight, and like we recently canceled all our subscriptions and whatnot, but like when it comes to sports, typically I watch highlight videos, and my form of watching live sports, because I don't even like get notifications on my phone anymore. What do is I will listen or watch Gamecast when I'm doing whatever, just play by play, even when it's so delayed. And that's how I follow it. And I'm like, well, kind of feel like I'm not really in it, so I can't really talk about it. But then, maybe there's an angle anywhere to talk about anything from any perspective, So, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll watch this back, and something will register and get going. And the important thing is, like, I'm just trying. I mean, I know that I have not published that novel that I was working on yet, but the fact that I have a pretty solid first draft, even if you could argue that it's incomplete, I did from beginning to end, and there might be some thin spots in the middle and maybe a few holes, but I made that first draft. And what empowered me to do that, I mean, there's a few things that went into it, but what empowered me to do that was the fact that by running this one experiment where I was able to just write, if I had to write and just keep my fingers on the keyboard and just kept going. I mean, the thing is, I tell you, I think the most words I ever wrote in an hour, I didn't always track that number, but if I go over here, I think I actually at one point, I don't know if I'm reading this chart right, 66.79, I think I did. Oh, that one was in 90 minutes. In 60 minutes right here, I mean, I've done over 5,000 words, 5,285 on this 60-minute time slot here, so that's 88 words a minute. And the thing is like, between editing and refining, and like, there's so much that you can improve in it, that I'm sure that there's a way for me to do that as well if I'm going to be writing an article. But I don't know, and maybe at the same time this isn't the right thing, but part of me is to sort this out, because right now I don't know if this is what I should be doing next, but I know that I gotta at least check it out, because I think the more things we try, the more like, a lot of things can be like process of elimination. I mean, that's not always the best way to go about things, but some things you got to, and a lot of times that ends up being like what you are gonna do for a living, and or what your dream is. I mean, because the thing is, like, I don't know. Yeah, I do dream of having like a career as a writer right now, or something else. Because there's things that I want that tons of people want, like the autonomy of your own schedule. Like, I tell people that, like, I wanna be able to take a nap at 11 a.m. or whenever, and I want to, if I'm feeling it at 2 a.m., I want to write at 2 a.m. If I've or do whatever it is that that time, like work, like, just have that flexibility of schedule. I never liked being told what to do when, but yeah, so really all over the spot place today. But I think, because like today I had a few sick kids home, and I'm taking care of them and getting chores done, and I'm trying to think that, like, okay, those are great things, being present, doing this, and there's certain things that I feel like you're doing the right thing and whatnot, but it's really like the times, like, there's time in our day every day, and it passes us by, where if you don't like the way things are, they can change things, and yeah, I think today I only wrote like 90 words, and none of them ended up saving, so it's like as if I wrote nothing. So, and maybe being a writer isn't the thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I just something I gotta try right now. But and then right now with this whole YouTube thing, I'm surprised somebody watched the first video all the way through. This one, it's getting up there a little bit. I don't know how long these videos are gonna be, but I think it's easier for me to watch it through it, and what I like to do is just to kind of, I don't know, it's a way of holding myself accountable and get myself to keep going, So, yeah. Well, another day down, and I wonder what am I going to do differently tomorrow. I think today was a good day, even if it's not in a progress. I think this showing up and being accountable, that there's definitely good things to be taken from it. Overall, I know I sounded down and out in my first video log, and this is my second now. I don't know if I'm calling it. I put it in a playlist called New Talk that I talk about as a podcast idea, but I'm just going to keep at it. I'm going to see how it goes. But I signed off last time with my mantra. I figure I'd say it again right now, because I really do believe it. But today is the best day of my life, and tomorrow will be even better.